So spontaneous in the moment.
That's definitely on the podcast. So we are early into this intro, everybody. I'm sitting here with a friend of mine, fellow 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu blue belt. I mean, I'm not a fellow of him, but he's a little higher ranked than I am. He is known as the sweetest moves. He's got a one-button story I'm going to have him talk about today. And, I mean, you really do have the sweetest moves. Everybody, Dean Ballenger.
Dean Ballenger, that's right. Thank you, man. Thanks for having me on. There's
Yes,
the
sir.
fucking... I got to scoot back a little bit.
That's
There's the
okay.
watch already. We're
I
good.
mean, you can beat up my table. It's okay.
I'm more about my watch, man.
Oh,
a nice
forget my table. So, buddy, what's been up?
Not a whole lot. Just doing a lot of jiu-jitsu. I kicked it into high gear within the last month because I thought I was going to have that fight. That fell through, but I'm still going to continue with the high gear. I would be there right now if I wasn't talking to you, which can't say I would rather be here because that's... I would because this is more fun per se, but I mean choking people is really, really fun, and you know where I'm coming from when I say that. So it's like...
It's the gospel we
preach.
preach.
I mean, that's what we do, and that's
Since you brought that up, I want to get right into that because that was one of the fan questions. Is they wanted you to talk about that fight, and I didn't know it was canceled until you just said this right now.
Yeah, Steve Dow, who's a dude that's been training, just got his blue belt. He was supposed to be a lifelong white belt, but shout out Steve, was supposed to give me a fight on the same. Well, actually, he got me a couple, but they just all fell through on the same fight card that Matt is doing on October 13th.
Okay.
Up in Iowa. I was going to do it.
So Steve was promoting it, or
No, he just knows promoters from being in the game so long, and he was
Okay.
just they needed a dude at 170, so I was gonna make that cut and make my amateur MMA debut, but that fell through a couple, like 3 times. They got 3 different dudes, and their camps never confirmed. And then he just came back at me like last Wednesday, because we talked last on Wednesday, and we were going to.
pull it closer to you so that way everybody can hear you a little louder. That way I don't have to keep cranking this thing.
Oh, right on. We were going to stop it on. I asked how long I should just like steep because I was cutting pretty hard for this because I was getting all the way to 170, which I haven't done.
What do you walk around at?
Right now, I walk around at like 200. I don't like that. I'm gonna start walking around at. I've just been this past 6 months has been a little hectic in my personal life with work and things to really commit fully to my jiu-jitsu journey and everything, but that's really slowed down, and we've actually figured out that a lot. My work schedule's figured out a lot, and we just got a new account and everything, and I'm not going to get into that because that's boring, but we finally I got my work life finally under control so that I can finally just be 100% balls to the walls with trying to be the best fight athlete I can be now that I actually do want to fight. It's been on my mind for a while, ever since I started jiu-jitsu. I did wrestle for so long, and I've always liked competing in the contact, and it's just something that I just fell in love with. I fell in love with jiu-jitsu, and then I just fell in love with MMA as well.
So sticking with the fight that fell through, what other places are you training at that I don't know about? Are you just training 10th Planet and doing striking with Matt?
Yeah, I'm just at 10th Planet. I was doing striking with Matt before we went to Denver. Me and Louise were doing it a lot, and Polish Poppy, Dominic, was doing it with us too. And then Josh was actually going to help me with it too until it fell through like that. And we're still going to continue working on striking because I want to continue doing MMA. So we're going to start, Josh is going to help me out with hitting shit more because I know...
Is that's what gets you excited, right?
Hitting shit?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does, because I've never gotten to before. Like, I've never gotten to just hold. Like, I would not. If I took that fight, there would be no kickboxing Dean where I'm trying to throw head kicks and teep this dude and side kick him like one. Nah, I'm going to pressure him against the cage, punch him in the face a couple times, and try to throw him on his head and throw him out of the cage. And if he stays in the cage, then I'm going to get to a dominant position where I could punch him really, really hard, and he can't punch me.
Do some ground and pound. Use that wrestling background.
Yeah, I just at 170, I haven't been there in a long time, but I've gotten the strength of really weightlifting and powerlifting for the past, like, I haven't done it the last couple of years. I've been doing jiu-jitsu, and those two just take so much. It's really hard to be a powerlifter and a jiu-jitsu dude.
Oh, I know.
Like,
I try to do it with kettlebells.
It's really, you could do it with lightweight. Those aren't light over there. A lot of those kettlebells are pretty thick. But like you can do it with like light reps and shit and get really muscly. But if you want to really gain like just raw power strength, like deadlift, squat, bench, front, you can say it doesn't translate, and it might not all, but you just can't do both because they both just take so much effort and so much just strain on your body and probably ultimately on your central nervous system, but I don't really know enough to talk about that.
Yeah. Quick sidebar. You know, are you a big kettlebell guy?
Yeah.
I'm looking at these ones over here and you're saying they're kind of heavy, but like to be real, like honest between myself, like I like my kettlebells like I like my women. Fit and thick.
Like I'm thick and thick? Yeah.
Fit and thick.
It's
my running joke.
Whenever I got rid of my kettlebells for my roommate. I bought kettlebells and my roommate bought a heavy bag and he moved to St. Louis. So I just gave him the kettlebells and I took the heavy bag. So I could hit it a lot more because that's just what I did. And he fell in love with kettlebells. I was like, yeah, just fucking take that. I'll take the heavy bag and we'll just trade off shit. So we did that. So I haven't gotten into kettlebells as much just because I don't have them. I haven't gotten around to buying them as much. But I do really like them. And there's definitely a lot of benefits from just throwing. Like you can just sit there for 5 minutes with the 50-pound kettlebell and just throw it around with the minimal like moves and knowledge and flow, like you just sit there, do 20 seconds of squat, like do a basic Tabata with a 50-pound kettlebell and tell me you're not a little rough after just straight 5-minute goes of that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you have the heavy bag, so do you hit that quite a bit? Do you find yourself working out a lot at home, whether it's like body weight
I have
stuff?
I have a lot of stuff at home. I just don't have kettlebells at this point in time.
Yeah.
So I just put 100 pounds on the bar. And like I said, just put 5 minutes on the clock and just move it and just see what happens. Because I feel like that, when you work your whole body like that at one point in time, you can condition everything. And I heard in the last podcast, they were talking about like condition your body. And he goes in deep.
Are you talking about Juan?
Yeah. Juan knows a lot of technical terms that just old Dan does not. So whenever I talk about stuff, this is completely from me wrestling for a decade straight, playing college baseball, being up to 240 plus pounds and cutting down to 190 and 180 and putting my body through really weird conditions and just kind of feeling what comes out of it. You can condition your body really, really quickly.
Right.
It would just suck. Like it will fucking suck to condition your body really, really quickly. I'm not talking about to be able to be like a TIE fighter kicking banana trees and shit. You ain't gonna condition your shit fast like that. But you can condition the muscle soreness from like just keep going. Like a lot of people, like they think the difference between sore. They don't know the difference between sore and hurt.
Yeah, because there's a huge difference.
Yeah, there's nothing better to me. Like after I'm lazy for a weekend and then I come back on, like I don't go Friday night class and I don't go to the open mat on Sunday. I don't go to our Saturday classes, and me and Josh go at it on Monday wrestling for 5 hard minute goes, and I do every rep on Jiu-Jitsu 101. I do every rep on the beginner's class. I do all the techniques. I do every pre-warm-up. I do the takedowns. And then I go just crazy on rolls, and we're doing 8-minute death rolls, and we do 8 of them, and I do every single one of them, and I wake up the next morning, and I can't move. That's legitimately the best feeling in the world to me, because I know that I put the work in the day before. The day before, you can bullshit yourself. You can be like, oh, I put the work in. I don't feel it today, but I definitely put that work in yesterday because I know I went to the gym and I worked out. But when the days you wake up and you feel like you can't move and you can't go to work, and then you gotta ease yourself, and you're holding on to the sink that's next to the toilet to sit yourself down to take a shit, and you gotta literally crawl down the steps or up the steps. Those are the days that you got to go again because you're not hurt. It's just sore, and it sucks. I know it sucks. Everybody sucks when they're sore, and you're not going to be able to perform the same. But the next day, you're not going to be as sore because you got a little bit of that lactic acid out, and you're just able to power through. And it's just gonna make you into a better hardened body and a better hardened mind of a person.
Yeah.
Like,
well, see, I know, because I know that soreness you always talk about. Like, as much as I've hardened my body and things like that, I still go hard enough. I get that same soreness. But the days that, like I've talked on this podcast about, like the inversion table, the rehab, and doing things, icing my back, yoga now that I've been into for a couple of weeks, and like really giving it my full go. But like one of the things that I've never mentioned, and I'm mentioning it right now that I'm so thankful for, is my bathroom. The counter is right next to the toilet, and that toilet's ADA height. So that toilet's an extra inch taller, so I don't have to squat down as far. And then when so I have like the rails on both sides basically to get up off that thing. It's so amazing.
That's what's up. Well, for you, it's different. Like you got back problems. Like you can't. Like, you know the difference between hurt and sore. Like, you know the days that you can't just push it anymore. I'm talking to the people that, like, you just don't feel like it. And, like I said, you know the days that you went and you killed yourself and the days that you actually got better. And then you know the days you went through the motions and you got up and the only reason you're sore is because you were drilling knee slide passes that day and your partner just destroyed your inner thigh. That's the only thing that's sore on you. Like that, those are the days like you just got to do better that day. And I have them. I'm not saying I had a baby Kansas City. Get that touchdown. Who touched? Was that a pick? Oh, our defense playing now. Oh, y'all don't want no problems.
So we should preface this. Dean's a huge, he's from Missouri. So we're going to get into that because there's also a question.
What? Wait. Oh, never mind. I got excited for nothing. We just got beat. We just got scored a touchdown out of nowhere. My bad, guys.
And we are watching the Broncos and Kansas City game right now. So he's all in for Kansas City. And it's just, I don't know. It's a little, we're just having a fun time here tonight.
Yeah. I wanted to preface this. We didn't get into it because we just kind of went into it because we were just going off and he was getting his little equalizer right over there on his mixed board and stuff. And then he just said, go. And I was vibing to the beat of this, bumping, what is that? Pre-show song? Intro song.
Yeah, it's Robbie King.
Robbie King.
Everybody go. I'm going to have to find him.
Yeah, that dude, that's gnarly. It makes me want to go just run through a wall and punch somebody in the face while I save a baby in my right arm or something. I don't know. I just feel powerful listening to that.
Yeah, Robbie King does the intro and the outro for the song. So thank you, Robbie. And I mean, the dude's a beast on the guitar.
Yeah, it was gnar. It was super gnar.
He's a friend of my uncle's, and if it wasn't for my uncle hooking me up with him, I wouldn't have that sweet intro and outro music. So thank you, Robbie King. And you got Dean all jazzed up, and his Kansas City Chiefs are doing well. So he's probably going to be a little schizophrenic here in this podcast as we keep rolling on. But like,
hang on, hold on with that. You've yet to get this out. You've listened to a lot of podcasts with Army snipers and gym owners and business owners and pro MMA fighters and dudes that do a lot of dope shit. I don't know anything about what I'm talking. I know 10% about what I'm talking about, and I'm going to talk about it like I know 100%. So if you take this, like, if you say Dean Ballenger doesn't know shit after this podcast, you are so right, okay? So don't be sitting here getting mad at Head Kick Radio that they had some dude named 10 Planet White Chocolate on his Instagram, and they had it on the podcast, and now you're getting mad because he's talking about, what did I say? Central nervous system and lactic acid and stuff. While we give up a touchdown. See, son of a, there we go. How you give up a touchdown to the, see, this is why.
I don't know if I can have you watching this game right now because you just missed a Patrick Mahomes touchdown a minute ago.
I did, and now I'm.
But let's bring it back here. Let's bring it back in. So I want to talk about your journey to MMA, but first, there's a fan question that wants.
I don't have I have the journey is yet to be started. Not real till you step in the cage.
Or not? Excuse me. I meant to say jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay.
But I want to talk about you come from, was it St. Louis or did you come from outside St. Louis?
No, I was born in just St. Louis City. Yeah, I moved out to the suburbs as my parents just started making it better. That's kind of how it works. And so I'm born there, but I was kind of raised in the outskirts, and then I was in the suburbs, like the Schaumburg area to Chicago. I kind of compare where I was raised in my post-pubescent years, like as the Schaumburg area.
Okay. So, but you grew up wrestling.
Yeah, from first grade.
Do you think that was kind of what struck your interest in doing jiu-jitsu?
Oh, yeah. I got into 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu basically like everybody else got into 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu that didn't already know somebody else doing it. I got into it by listening to the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah, and just vibe with the whole Eddie Bravo.
Well, actually, I'm a big stand-up comedy connoisseur. I love stand-up comedy, and I actually want to. I'm just being a big pussy about it, but I have jokes written, and I actually want to go perform stand-up and shit.
No, so do I. But this episode's going to come out a week from today, so
yeah.
Juan's came out today. Yours is coming out a week from today.
Okay.
For the listeners listening, so they know when we record it. But Joe Rogan's new stand-up
I know it's coming out tomorrow. Oh, I know.
And I saw him on his last tour when he did Triggered.
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious. And of course, that Netflix special is up on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, of course, it wouldn't be anywhere else. It's a Netflix special. Come on, Steven. And then last night, I was watching Eliza Schlesinger again.
She's hilarious.
And I went back because I've seen her so many times, but I went back to her 2015 Freezing Hot one.
That's the best one. That's the one that turned me on to her. She's fucking funny in that.
She's hilarious.
Yeah.
And so I've been waiting for her to roll through. And you know what? Theo Vaughn just rolled through here at the Laugh Factory in downtown Chicago. I missed him.
Oh, shit.
But I always catch Brendan Schaub and I always catch Brian Callen. I don't ever miss those two. And Uncle Joey is somebody I try not to miss as well.
I haven't seen any like for real stand-up comedy like live. I need to be more diligent about it. I don't make those things priorities, like stuff like that. I'm much more like if a new movie comes out, I will easily wait for it to come out on Redbox or on Netflix, and I'll just go watch that. I understand with stand-up is definitely not the same experience, especially with certain comedians. Like you need to feel that energy. But
I think stand-up comedies. I think that's why people like Joe Rogan are so successful, and Chris D'Elia and all these people that train and do stand-up comedy, because the pressure, the adrenaline, the work that you have to put into it that goes into the whole grand scheme of it all, it's kind of very similar. And that's what I think about like jiu-jitsu is, we're talking journeys here and stuff, is like now anything I do in life, there is nothing harder, like going and meeting new people, going to a job interview, whatever it may be. There's nothing harder in my day than going to jiu-jitsu, somewhere I absolutely love going and being around people I love being around.
Right.
And everything's so trivial now because the hardest part of my day is also the funnest part of my day. So when
hardest part is like literally being the hardest thing you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mentally and physically.
Okay.
Both.
I thought you meant like it's the hardest thing to go do. I'm like,
no. I mean like mentally and physically.
Literally, jiu-jitsu is the hardest thing you do every day.
Yeah. So like
that makes sense.
When you go to a job interview,
right,
you succeed. So like when I look at like Joe Rogan and Chris D'Elia and all these guys and Callen and Brendan Schaub that do jiu-jitsu and fight and this and that I think to them like they apply those same concepts to their art of stand-up, and the only thing is like they know how to put in work. They know what it takes to, go up there and then put it all on the line, whether you're doing competitions, whatever. It's like, it's essentially the same thing, but in front of a crowd, and you're kind of exposing yourself a little bit more. But even as an art of jiu-jitsu, when you're on the mats, like, especially if you're, a big name and you're on EBI or, Abu Dhabi and things like that, like you're putting yourself out there because you're putting your own expression out there.
Oh yeah. It doesn't even have to be on that grand of a scale either. I was actually thinking the other day, because I never thought of wrestling as a martial art. Like you don't get taught. Wrestling is a sport. You get taught that.
Yeah.
Like you want to, even though you don't play wrestling, like no one's ever said, yeah, you want to go play wrestle. Like what? No. No. I'm not going to go tickle me. What are you talking about? I'm not going to go play wrestling with you. I'll wrestle, yes. I'm not going to play wrestling. Like don't be saying that shit to me. Like it wasn't until like you actually think about what wrestling is, it's like, oh, this might be the most dominant form of martial arts possibly. Like if you get somebody that's really good at wrestling and a really good boxer, you're gonna have a rough day.
Yeah, because they can dictate.
Yeah, they can dictate where it goes all the time. A good jiu-jitsu dude can mitigate that, but like Khabib don't really give two fucks about your jiu-jitsu. Like, yeah. If he gets you down, he starts raining bombs. It's gonna be a rough day. But anyway, about the expression, it doesn't have to be on that grand of a scale even. Like ADCC or stuff like that. It can just be like, I was thinking about it the other day. Like I said, I never thought of wrestling as a martial art, but like, and whenever I'm doing jiu-jitsu, that's like the only time I've ever felt like an artist, like in my life. Like when someone sits on their butt in jiu-jitsu and I'm listening to music and I get to like half break dance and do footwork and try to pass their guard while we're doing that and we're just playing around, that's like legitimately Dean Ballenger expressing himself in the most purest way. I love that's the way it just is. And it's weird when you see other people like Meryl Streep say that MMA isn't the arts, because like you literally act. That's not even you.
Right.
Like I understand that you expressing a form of you, but you're not that person. So who are you to say what I do isn't an expression of me, which is what art is. Like I understand that's your brain working to feel whatever that character is. I'm not taking away from that. I kind of am, because I think I could do it pretty easily.
You think you could? Well,
I think I could definitely act.
You just segued into another fan question, and they want to know, because there is a video out there, I believe it's on your Instagram, I don't know if it's on your Facebook, but you got caught by the bouncer for dancing with one button on the dance floor, and you got told to button that shirt. So let me preface this. You're always dancing in the mats, like, you know, in between rolls, you know, as you walk to the next partner. It's never like, hey, I'm gonna walk over to you, we're gonna do this. And like, no, it's a tomcat stroll, and there's a lot of dancing.
It's just the vibe, man. Like,
and then you slap bump, and then you go.
And then that's just the way it is, man. Like I said,
tell that story, because that's a fan question. They want to hear. They want to hear the whole story.
If you want to go watch it, it's on my Instagram. 10p white chocolate. 10p white chocolate. That's right. But yeah, I was in last weekend. My little brother's birthday. He just turned 9. His name's Jackson, and he had a dope ass birthday planned up, dude. He had a soccer party. He had a soccer game at 2:30. Then he had a soccer party at like our local indoor place at 3:30, and it was gonna be parents versus little kids. I was gonna beat the shit out of some 9-year-olds in soccer. I swear to God, if you put a 9-year-old in goal against me, you just made a mistake. I will let this left foot of a cannon go and knock your 9-year-old bows off, son. All right, but he got pneumonia on the day of his damn birthday. Had like 104 fever. It's like, man, you just got bummed out like a but he just literally sat home and played Fortnite all day. So I mean, I guess that's pretty much the same thing. So we go out later that night. I'm with one of my childhood best friends, Braxton, and just all of his best friend Hanky, who's also my boy, and then we just meet up with all of his boys and shit. And just there's this thing about St. Charles Main Street bars that they have really shitty DJs. Like every fucking bar you go into, the DJ does not know how to play a good song and just sustain the vibe. So every good song, like there's like literally 2 people on the dance floor all night. So every good song, I would just go out there and just boogie and just cut a rug. And I usually have a drink in my hand, but this time they played, it was like Plain Jane or something, or whoever if I hit it one, I ain't safe fitting. Oh,
it's Jeezy.
Yeah, it was that G-Eazy with fucking then I get some money. And oh my God, Cardi go and that shit. But
so Dean is out there.
Dean's out there. I got a button-up shirt on, and I'm out there just living my best life, if I really do say so myself. I got the whole bar just looking at me, just cut a rug in the middle of this dance floor. I don't know how it happened. I guess I suppose I was the person to unbutton my shirt all the way down to one button. But let me tell you, it's hot when you're boogieing that hard, okay? You got beers in your system, you know. You might have took a pickle shot that night, so now you're sweating pickle. Like, it's just going to be a rough go, so you just need to you got to undo the shirt and get yourself a little button action. And he wasn't having it. I was in my Michael Jackson mode. I had the arm up, and like I was just getting it. He just came up. He's like, "Oh man, you got to button that shirt up, man." And I looked down, and I got like one button, full chest hair, all hanging out, 2 nipples. It's like one of them's hard. It's weird.
Just one.
Just one hard. Yeah, for some reason I got caught a drift or something. So I had to button my shirt up, and that just. First of all, who do you think you are? Like, I'm the only person in this damn bar bringing any sort of atmosphere here, and you're gonna come up to me with your 15-inch arms. You're lucky you're 6'5". Like, that's the only reason you got a job right now. You're not intimidating nobody. Like, you need to understand what's going on, and I'm helping you right now, sir. I am helping your establishment, and you just killed it. Everybody saw you. You wrecked the one button boogaloo is what you did. You wrecked the one button boogaloo. I hope you hear this. You won't, but I wish you would.
But hey, maybe one day I can grow this big enough that this guy would hear that. That's. But when I saw that video and I said, if somebody was to say to me like, explain Dean to a T, I would just send him that video. Like, most people don't have a video you can just send them. You do now. You have a video that I could just send the world, and they're like, "Oh, that's Dean." I'm like, "That's Dean."
It's not the only video out there.
No, there's a bunch of
videos that you could send of people, or to people of, "Oh, that's Dean." Yeah.
You're a handful, my friend.
I try to be, and it's not. I was gonna say it's not on purpose, but it totally is. So I would be lying. I try to be. There's nothing more fun, because I was like we were talking before. I don't put unwanted stress in my life. So like
you're just all about a good time.
I'm all about about a good time. Like, if you take anything that I'm saying seriously, like the only reason I'm messing with you is because you're cool. Like, if I didn't like you, I'm not talking to you. Like, that's.
And I kind of got that vibe from you in the gym. Like, if you weren't like joking around, talking shit a little bit, and having fun with us, then you didn't like us. You'd just be like, I'm staying away from you. Fuck you, kind of thing.
Which I don't think the people that had that vibe. There's only like 2 of them, and they got weeded out like that. There's just a couple people that you you can't be a douche and do jujitsu for that long. Like, you just...
No, you make too many enemies in that sport.
Yeah, well, especially in our gym, I can't really, like, literally on top of my head, I can't think of one person that I have. I fucking love everybody at that gym. All the dudes, all the chicks, even people, like, I don't know half the moves that I do in jiu-jitsu, and I don't know 3/4 of the people's names at that gym, and I'm truly sorry for that. But it's just, like, I'm literally in my own world, like, all the time, and if I don't, like, interact with you and we're not, like, literally rolling training partners every day, it's like, I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just like, I got too much shit going on. Dude, I just remember the dude that comes in once on Tuesday, unless it's, like, every fucking Tuesday and I see him and shit.
Yeah.
But, like, I make fun of it all the time. Like, Josh will show some shit. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you're talking about. Just show me. Like, I don't know. You'll say it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know names of things. I know what to do, and I know how it feels. But somewhat, kind of. I definitely don't know how everything feels, and I get caught in shit, new shit every day, and it's hilarious.
I've got two sidebars off that. Like, to me, I've had a lot of conversations in my life, and obviously the podcast is just bringing that many more deep conversations. And I can truly respect somebody when I can see that they're being their true self and they're having fun doing it, but they're not being an asshole on purpose. But sometimes it could seem like that to an outsider or a new person, this and that. Maybe it's because I'm so in my element there too. I don't see that. I'm like, oh, this is just Dean having fun. But the second thing is, there's a second part, and this is the part I want you to expand upon.
Okay.
Is, when does it become a time? Because as you keep, ranking up and doing jiu-jitsu, because you are a blue belt, when does Dean look at himself and say, hey, man, if I ever want to be a black belt, maybe I should learn the names of these moves? Is that in your head at all?
Every time I say that, because I want to run a school. Like, I want to. Like, I'm going to start bringing... I'm joking about that because right now I legitimately... Like, if you ask me, hey, Dean, name the path that you just took to get that submission, if I got one in rolls and you saw it, I couldn't do it. I could tell you what I hit, and I could tell you in my terms, like, what I did, but there's no way I could tell you the step-by-step 10th Planet names. And I do love 10th Planet, and I do love Piscini grappling, because I've learned so much wrestling from Josh. Like, I was straight folk style. My style of wrestling was I wasn't stronger than you and I wasn't faster than you, so I had to be weirder than you. So I was hitting, like, low singles on 215-pound dudes that wouldn't expect it, and I was just trying to do weird things that they wouldn't, like, normally a 215-pound, like, freshman kid wouldn't hit. So that thought is constantly going through my mind when I joke about it, because, like I said, if you take the shit seriously that I say, especially when it's ridiculous, then that's on you. Like, you're right. I do say I don't know the moves, and I don't a lot of the times, but I'm going to learn them. Like, I'm going to, because I do want to make this is my life now, and I do thoroughly enjoy doing it every time I step on the mat, and every time I miss a day, the next day I wake up, I'm pissed off at myself because I didn't go do jiu-jitsu. So I'm going to learn all that shit. I'm going to start bringing a notebook. I'm going to start writing down my paths, because this is what I want to do as a livelihood and as, like, just for the rest of my life. So I'm going to learn that thing and those things. But
everybody knows in the 10th Planet system, we got some wild names for moves that, other people have different names for and things like that. Is there a thought in your head that, hey, maybe I should get, Eddie's books and just for the terminology, because you may know the moves already, but just for the terminology's sake, has that ever crossed your mind? Because it's crossed my mind, and I'm just as guilty.
Yeah.
If not more guilty.
I've actually thought about getting more and more martial arts books, because I don't read, and I'll admit that. Like, just like we were talking about, I don't do anything that causes unneeded stress in my life, and the biggest thing when I was growing up in school was reading, because you made me read things that I didn't give a fuck about.
Have to do AR reading
I don't
points
care.
and all that?
I don't care. So if you're going to make me do that, I'm going to hate it, and I'm probably not going to do it. Like, I created the fuck it mentality in my head in about 7th grade. So if you wanted me to do some shit that I wasn't going to do since 7th grade, probably wasn't going to get done. And I might act like I'm going to get it done, but I'm not going to get it done. But I love martial arts. I love reading about John Smith's low single, and I love reading the Tao of Jeet Kune Do that Bruce Lee and his family put out. Those are great things, but I'm not going to sit here and read Bio 2 about what the hell... I'm not even going to try to pontificate on that, because I don't know anything in Bio 2. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's...
That's not my thing. But getting Eddie's books, just based off of training methods, I think it would be good just to read that thing and read those paths and read those techniques, because I've found that even if I'm not training physically, if I'm still stimulating my brain with the knowledge of what I'm thinking about and new things, I might just pull that off in a roll one day just because I read it and I'm feeling limber and I can throw my leg up there real quick. Like that's a thing that totally happens. This subconscious like thought process that we have, that we can get better at things. We're not going to get better. You're not going to get better at calculus when you don't do it and you're just thinking about it all the time and you don't actually know the processes of it.
Yeah, you have to know the process.
You have to know the base
concepts.
of it, and I know the base of grappling. So like whenever I see stuff and then I just think about it in the back of my head, I can get better at that because I'm thinking about the little nuances of the move. But like I'm not going to get better at if I read like what somebody's talking about with some big words. I'm not even going to try to think of nothing.
Well, so okay, like I want to jump it back into MMA here. So you do go at least 4 days a week. I do know that for the most part.
Yeah, I try to make it a point for that.
But you also talk about kind of relaxing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you're talking about doing MMA. Is there going to be some serious MMA? Like, and I love Matt, but Matt's, kind of got to do his own thing. He's got to go, Denver and do these training camps.
Oh, he does, and he
so
should. And
is Dean going to do an MMA class? Is Dean going to do a kickboxing class, a boxing class, like somewhere else? And, with Josh's help and all that grand scheme of things, what are you going to do to really build your confidence like you are in jiu-jitsu in striking? Have you thought about that moving forward?
Yeah, I have. We have some good guys. We have Richard Abraham has a really good school in Maximus Muay Thai, and it's like literally 15 minutes from my house. So I might just start going there because Josh speaks highly of him and he does know his stuff. I like talking to Josh about it because I can kind of develop what my style of striking is going to be. Like I said, I'm never going to. I don't foresee. And this might go out the window. Like I said, the only time I've ever felt like an artist is when I'm practicing jiu-jitsu and when I'm rolling.
Because you're getting comfortable.
Because I'm comfortable and I'm really just confident. Like especially if I'm feeling confident and I'm just going into things, I don't really think like you would really just have to be better than me to beat me at something. But like I really think.
Do you want that confidence in a stand-up game?
Well, I was gonna get to it. Like I think like. I do want that, and I think I could definitely get to that. But I don't really think that that's my style. Like, I would, if every fight was in a phone booth, that would be dope. Because we could just sit there and.
There's no running, yeah.
If we just sit there, and I would stand there, and you would stand there, and we would grab each other, and we would joust for position to who could punch each other in the face.
But that's just because you wrestle and you could take them down in a phone booth. So that as your friend, I'm kind of, I see that you get obsessive over it. And now I'm thinking like, I want you to put these pieces together, and I kind of want you to get obsessed with striking and stuff too. And maybe like even a kind of a combat jiu-jitsu thing that's kind of, gaining steam right now. But in saying that, you're what, 24, 25?
I'm 24.
24? Okay. So
I have to focus on things that are going to be very practical to use.
But my question to you now is there a timeline of like, okay, I'm 24 now. I have to take this serious enough if I really want to make a run at this. I want to not, but I'm hoping you're doing this selfishly. Like, I don't want to, like, if I'm you right now, I'm thinking I don't want to sell myself short because here I am, myself speaking, I'm about to be 30 later this year in December. So you're 24, you're 6 years from that. And I know like a lifetime can happen in 5 years. And I will tell you that sitting here right across from me right now. What is your plan at 24? Are you going to take this, like, do you plan on taking this so serious? Like, you hope you're in Matt's shoes at, 28 kind of thing like him? Or do you, like, what's going on in your thought process?
I'm getting more and more to that point every day.
So it's like a gradual thing?
Yeah, well, this first started about a month, 2 months ago. Like, the first time I've seen Steve Dow in the gym in a while was about 2 months ago, and he asked me what my weight was, and I told him it was about 200 pounds, and he asked me if I wanted to fight 170 in 2 months. So that was the first seed. I've thought about it, I've dabbled in it, but I've thought about it as much as like whatever you're barely thinking about right now that could be a possibility in your life. Like That's how much that I thought about it. And then he brought that up and he just asked me, and I was like, I just thought about it for a couple of days, and I was like, man, do you really love doing this? Do you really think that you could, and do you really think you could do this? I've never, like I say, I don't do things that I don't want to do, and I definitely don't half-ass things that I love anymore, and I try not to as much as I can. So whenever that seed was planted, I told him to give me a week, and I answered in like 3 days, and I said, let's fucking run it. And it's kind of been my mindset since. Like, I had 3 other opponents, and I said, let's run it every time, until he gave me that short notice one where I just wasn't going to make the weight, and I didn't want my first fight to be the dude that doesn't make weight when he shows up.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to tarnish your name.
It's just
right
a bad
off the bat.
fucking rep, and I've never missed weight before, so I didn't want my first MMA fight to be when I had to cut 25 pounds in 16 days to make weight and go in there and be more worried about running and putting nothing into my body than actually worried about not getting hit in the face right now, because that's what I don't know how to do very well. Like, I was sparring just boxing with Josh the other day, and in a 3-minute round I hit him twice in the body. Like, he would hit me and I would do what little I know and slip and get where I feel like I could hit him again, and he just wouldn't be there. And if we were actually fighting and he was actually hitting me, he would knock me out within like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
like,
but Josh has done it before.
Oh, I know. Josh has done it for a really long time, and he was good at it. And like that, I'm not trying to compare what my level is to what it should be or what I think it should be. Like, I know he's my fucking coach. Like, he's gonna beat my ass until he literally can't move anymore. Like, that's just the way it is. But it's just a weird feeling when you feel like you're doing the right things. Like, I've punched people before. Like, I know how to punch people, but I don't. Like, I really don't, like, at all. And it's exposed whenever you go. Are you
worried about the adrenaline dump? Has that something that's crossed your mind?
No. Nah, I love that. Like, the more people watching me, the better. I've never been one to shy away from a pressurous moment, and I've never been one to like care that a lot of people are watching.
I kind of want to be more clear, because I mean, I don't know you as well as I probably should, but I know you, I think, fairly well. And so what I mean by that is, I don't think that, I'm not worried about the pressure getting to you kind of thing. I'm worried about is, and I know Dean Ballenger, like, you're going to go and you're going to go hard. So after, let's just say the first 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the round, go into the second round.
You haven't watched me compete then, have you?
I haven't, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I only know you a little bit.
I'm very calculated when it comes to competition.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I roll and whenever I spar, I'm doing whatever the hell comes to my mind and whatever I think about at that point in time. But whenever I compete, I'm not on my back. I get on top of you, I do what I want to you, and then I either choke you out or I grab your arm and I break it or you tap. Like that. That's how I compete. That's how my mindset is. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you beat me, you're going to beat me at doing those things and not letting me do those things. There's no break dancing on game day. On game day, there's a clear path to victory, and there always will be a clear path to victory, and it's going to be my best game plan. I will never play somebody else's game on game day. Like, that's just not going to happen. Because I know that whenever I am fully confident and I impose my will and I know that I've put the hours in and I know I've ran the miles and lifted the weights and put the training hours in, that if I do impose my will, you're going to have a rough fucking day. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. So it's not like, if I show up on game day and there's no real game plan to success, I'd be real surprised. And I would be real, the adrenaline dump thing could happen, but it wouldn't be because I blew my wad. Like, I'm very conservative with my energy. I expend my energy. I wouldn't expend my energy on big shots to try to put them out. Like, I would expend my energy on takedowns and keeping in positions and places where I'm good at expending my energy.
Right. Are you big into visualization?
Yes. And it may not think of that as much, but especially, I'm much more cerebral when it comes to competition than somebody would think of me. And it's odd because I know what I come off as. I know what I am. And
right.
I don't come off as that. That's what I am. Like, that is what I am.
Because I look across from you and I can see you're easily a guy, like, you're a fun-loving guy. That's why we're friends.
Yeah,
you're honest.
Sure.
And this the whole thing we've been talking about this podcast. You're honest. You say what you want. You do what you want, like, in a respectful way.
Yeah.
Like, you don't disrespect anybody along the way. Like, some people may take things as disrespectful, as I was saying earlier. But I want to know, like, for visualization, do you think of all outcomes, like if there's adversity that you have to overcome? Because obviously, like, the first thing you think is, I'm going in, I don't care who my opponent is, I'm doing this, and this is my game plan. That's what I'm good at. But do you ever think like, okay, Dean, I've got to be real with myself.
Mm-hmm.
What if this dude catches me? What if he, take down, puts me on my back? Like, do you think about those things in your visualization?
I think about those most because that's what's most happened to me. Like my first year wrestling, I went like 2-39. Like I just got my ass beat. Like I know what it's like to get my ass beat, and I'm not afraid of an ass whooping no more because I felt it so much. So I think about those outcomes, and in every scenario, whenever I think about getting my ass beat, I'm still not losing. Like whenever I'm getting my ass beat, I'm like, okay, don't give up, don't be a bitch. Like literally now, whenever I was getting ready for that fight, like anytime somebody would take my back, anytime I know how to, I turtle up, donkey kick, I get out of that. I get out of that stuff different. I get out of that stuff like a wrestler. I don't get out of stuff like a jiu-jitsu guy, and that's fine because that's not how I know how to get out of it. But my mentality is just like, don't be a bitch. Like don't be okay with getting your ass beat right now. Like that's how the mentality of it is when I am getting my ass beat. It's not like, okay, I'm getting my ass beat, I guess I got my ass beat. It's like, no, I'm getting my ass beat right now. Don't be a bitch. Take it and figure out how to not get your ass beat. Get back on your feet, get your takedown, start imposing your will, start punching him in the face. There's never a point where I'm getting my ass beat and Dean's just getting his fucking ass beat. Like that's not ever in my realm of consciousness.
There's no quit.
There's no time where, especially now, there has been in my life. I've definitely had quit in me in my life. And it's good to realize that because you know how to overcome it.
Right. You got to kill the quit.
Yeah. I've felt what it's like to walk off a mat knowing that I didn't have to get pinned right there and I could have turned and I could have fought more. I know what it's like walking off a baseball field.
Knowing you could have gave a little.
I know what it's like walking off a baseball field being ranked number 1 in the state and getting beat by a team that got 4 wins all year when you were in playoffs, and now you're eliminated because you got beat by a team that had 4 wins all year when you had 30. And you set the school record.
Because we always got my senior year. We got beat in the state semis by 1 run, but I've never been beat by a team with 4 wins.
We were ranked. We were the best team in school, and we were really, really good. A couple guys got drafted from that squad. We all went to junior college or high level colleges for baseball, and we went out and got our asses beat by a team that had 4 wins that year. Like I know what the fuck that feels like, and if I can make sure it doesn't happen again, it's not going to happen. Like I'm gonna lose. Like I know I'm going to lose in competitions from now on. I know I'm probably going to lose in MMA when I take fights.
But that's never the mindset you walk in with.
Nah, I don't care. Like I remember freshman year wrestling. There was just this freshman tournament only. So I just went as a freshman tournament, and I was the dean team because I wasn't on any wrestling team at that point in time because I lost the varsity wrestle-off and the JV because I went back-to-back, and they didn't let me wrestle for freshmen. So I just went as the dean team and just went as whoever didn't have a 215-pounder that day and wrestled on their team. So I was wrestling on random teams like throughout freshman year until I actually made the varsity squad.
So did you have success in those tournaments?
Dude, I was wrestling for 11 years against a dude that's never wrestled before. Like, I was fucking them up. Like, I shouldn't have been in it. They just needed me to get mat time so I could keep sharp. But
so were you losing or were you winning?
I was beating the shit out of people. Like, just terribly. Like, I did not lose a freshman wrestling match against another freshman. Like, just, nah.
So that wasn't your 2-39 year?
No, that was 2-39 was first grade.
Oh, so it was when you
so freshman year was 9 years after that when these kids are just starting getting their 2-39 years in. They're getting a 9-year vet.
Yeah, because I mean, like my experience other than just wrestling in the off season in between football and baseball with my school, just to get out of off season conditioning and weightlifting after a while, was watching my cousin wrestle, and he was just an absolute stud. And he went to the largest school district in Oklahoma. And the guy,
you from Oklahoma in the best? Oh, you good.
Yeah, and so this kid, he was a state runner-up his senior year. The kid he lost to, his dad was a 3-time All-American at OU.
Yeah,
so my cousin was a beast.
Yeah, it's real proper wrestling.
So I understand wrestling, and all my best friends wrestled competitively and this and that since we were kids. Honestly, I don't know how I never got into it. It was one of those things I never felt pressured to do, but I love to do it in the off season.
It's great. Wrestling's great. And the story I was going to say was at those freshman tournaments one time, Like I was wrestling 215. I weighed 200 pounds. Now I'm fucking 5'9", 5'10" on a good day.
I know. We make good training partners because we're the same size, same weight.
Just
I'm a little
different
taller.
body weights. I'm the different body styles. I mean,
yeah, you're a little shorter and compact,
yeah.
and I'm a little lengthier.
And there was a dude from a different school district. It was him, his dad, and his girlfriend, and he was like tall and jacked, like I don't know, like 6'4", 211, and 215 pounds. That freshman, just chiseled. And he was looking over, like, pointing at me and laughing at me, like, oh, that's my next guy. And they were all fucking laughing at me. And I was like, oh, I guess I got to kill you now. And I went out there and I hit him with a fucking low single, which is a move you never heard before, and I pinned him in about 17 seconds.
You love that low single, bro, because you come at me like, I tell you all the time, like, I don't want to wrestle. And then you're like, all right, we're just going to do this one. Like, maybe it's just warm-ups. And you come at me with this low single. I'm like we're big dudes. I've never had a big dude like this. I mean,
yeah, that's what I said. It was always like I didn't lift weights throughout high school, so like if I wanted to wrestle those big dudes, I had to just do weird shit and I had to use leverage. And if I put my forehead on your kneecap and my hand behind your ankle, you can't go anywhere. You can try, but you're not going to. I don't care how strong you are.
Don't act like I'm not passively watching you and trying to learn it.
You could try to learn. I'll teach it to you. It's all about that movie. Is so timing and so like I can hit it from far out because I can hit the timing. I know my shot. But if you don't know your shot, you got to do a lot of just getting sprawled on because you're just gonna. Thing about the low singles, it's so timing and it's so if you miss, like you got to get your pinky to the mat on it, and if you don't, they can get their leg back, and then it's just sprawl city on the back of your neck and the back of your head because you're already farther non-compact with your body. Because your head and knee and shoulder and arm are all far apart from each other. Like usually whenever you take a shot, you'll be able to clasp your hands on a single leg. You can kind of pull everything in. But right there on a low single, if you don't get the technique right and you don't hit your forehead somewhere, or you don't get them like backing up and just sweep them with it and just hit like a nasty sweep with it, kind of with your hand. But if like actually hit a low single technique, if you don't get your knee, forehead, and like chest all aligned, and you don't get that forehead pressure and the pinky down, it's just going to be really hard to finish that move because it is such a technique move and a timing move.
It is, and when I watched you hit me with one of them, and like, of course we were drilling, I wasn't doing too much to get out of it, and I did a little bit of effort to try to get out of it, and you hit me with it, and I was like, it perfectly collapses your body.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of impressed by it.
Yeah, it's a lever. It's like, like they say in submissions, like if you want to do a wrist lock, you got to control the elbow. If you want to get the arm bar in the elbow, you got to control the shoulder. But like it's the same thing if I want to control your whole body. If I can completely control something that is so far away from you as a lever and you can't control me, I can kind of use that one lever to control your entire body, especially if I know what I'm doing with it. Like I got your ankle and your knee. I can kind of do whatever I want to put you in a position until I want to get you on top of you. Like I could flatten you out or I can put you on your back, whichever way I want to pull the knee or push it down.
Are you worried about that kind of takedown though in MMA where they can punch you in the face?
I would never hit a low single in MMA.
Okay. That's why I was going to ask.
No.
That's too risky.
That's my go-to. I would definitely figure out. I'm really creative when it comes to that type of stuff, so I would try to figure out something to implement that type of leverage and that type of like technique of sweeping the leg as you try to hit the knee at the same time. But I don't exactly think it would be a low single. I think it might be more like an inside knee tap or like outside knee tap, but that's pretty much what everybody does in MMA. Get them upside the cage, get an underhook, and then you just go and you run them down the cage and you tap their knee, and then hopefully you end up in side control. But I would definitely like to figure out something with a low single just because I am so familiar with that move that I think I'd be able to develop things off of it. But yeah, getting punched or kneed in the face, getting to that is definitely a big worry. And a big thing to worry about because you are really open. Like you see Randy Couture hit it on James Toney, but James Toney don't know nothing about wrestling and ain't never thrown a kick in his life. So So that's pretty fair on that one. But yeah, I'm not sure if you're gonna see old Dan fucking diving at a low single when I'm in the cage or anything.
Okay, I was kind of feeling you out there because I was a little worried for you because I know it's kind of your go-to. And
yeah, no, I'm working more.
But
I'm working more on strength from a squat position because I want to be able to lift people.
Yeah.
Lift everybody. And I think me cutting weight to a lower weight class is definitely going to do that because I carry 200 pounds well, like on my frame, but I'm definitely not a 200 pound like fighter. I'm not a 205 pound fighter. That just isn't true.
I'll body shame you a little bit because I body shame me, but like we're a couple guys that could lose a few pounds, and you definitely could make 170. I just want you to feel as strong as you are at 200. I can tell you because you're a strong dude, and I just want you to feel that strong at 170.
Well, thank you. I try to be strong.
So that was funny earlier when you said you weren't as strong. I'm kind of thinking, all right, I roll with a lot of different people, and I feel people out. And, I try to protect myself in this back injury, but I know, like I love rolling with you because I feel safe, but you're still strong as hell.
Yeah, I know. I try not to put anybody in danger whenever I roll with them. Like I'll definitely get you in bad spots, but it's not going to be where somewhere you can get fucked up. Like that's just not the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's not really the way wrestling is either. It's just, you're not really allowed to do that. So that's not really ever in me. It's more, I'm not really mean either. It's one of my coaches when I was wrestling growing up, like, that was one of his biggest knocks against me. Like every year I would get the most improved wrestler award, but he would go to my mom. He's like, you're just not mean enough.
I just be a little. Yeah, do you think you're finding that though? At 24?
Oh no, I found it a while ago. I'm able to flip the switch, and I could find that switch. And once go time hits, like whenever I get on the map, I'm ready to rip a motherfucker's head off.
Yes.
Like I will gladly, if you don't tap, I'll gladly take it home.
Kudos to you because I don't think I found that switch until 2 years ago when I was 27.
Yeah, it takes a while to find it, and you got to kind of dig. You got to find that switch, to find the switch to turn it on and to turn into kill mode and to turn into hate mode. You have to really dive into your emotions, and you're gonna have to cry, and you're gonna have to like really think about what it is you are and what it is that gets you to that state of wanting to kill somebody, and that's gonna make you become very, very emotional.
Yeah, you second guess yourself. Yeah, you're always looking at yourself like it's not you.
Yeah, and but once you're able to flip that switch, like you could turn it on really in a second, and you kind of hear people talking about that, like.
But it's learning to harness that switch. Yeah, I want to point out.
Yeah. You don't just want to be. You don't want just that switch to just flip off while you're in fucking CVS. That's when we get people.
You want to be able to control Hulk mode, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Hulk mode's got to be. Hulk mode's got to be for the mat and for the bedroom, like,
right?
Yeah,
that's the Dean I know, right there.
Yeah, fuck yeah, you gotta be if you're not fucking stuffing your girl real proper every time, or at least trying to, like not when she's not on her fucking period. And if she wants to, you probably should. Don't be fucking soft.
I apologize if there's kids listening right now.
But like, don't be fucking soft. Dive in there if she wants you. It's just a fucking party. But yeah, Hulk mode. I don't believe in Hulk mode.
No, let's just call it the switch because that's what it is.
I don't believe in the switch in training, really, unless it's
close to competition.
Unless it's time. Like there can be times where it's like you and your partner know, like, okay, we're gonna try to kill each other, and you better fucking tap, or you better be ready to guard this head kick, or you gotta be ready to do whatever because like I'm coming for blood this round. But it definitely has to be mutual, and you definitely both have to know what's going on. You can't have one dude going 100% and one dude going 50 and expecting bad things not to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's same thing like in relationships. I look at it. It's the same way when you roll with your partners. You have to be in communication before the roll happens. Like, hey, if you have any injuries, like what's going on, or like, hey, I'm getting close to competition for jiu-jitsu, MMA, whatever. Like, I need you to give me your best effort.
Give it to me.
If you're not hurting, give me your best effort.
For sure.
So, but I want to kind of segue here because I have a normal co-host, and his name is Justin, and he has never done any jiu-jitsu. So I was talking to Juan.
Justin, let's go.
On episode 20. That's what I've been trying to say. I've been talking to Juan on episode 20 of, like, let's get a little deeper into what it's like to be a beginner. But you and I both know Juan's so close to he's so close to his black belt. He's a little further removed, and he's been doing martial arts for 20 years, Taekwondo and everything. I want you, because you're a blue belt.
Yes.
I want you to talk about your nerves and your kind of a little bit of your journey of what it's like and your thought process. But how would you explain it to somebody, like if you looked across the table and I was your Costa and I've never done jiu-jitsu, how would you talk me into it?
I would talk you into doing jiu-jitsu. I would probably show you some videos of things, and if I was your friend, I would tell you that it's literally the best thing that you could do for your livelihood. It's the best cardio, one of the best cardio wrestling practice, I believe, and swimming is probably the best cardiovascular you can do, but jiu-jitsu's right up there with it. It keeps you pliable and flexible, especially if you continue to stretch out and just don't rely on jiu-jitsu to keep you a bendy person. But as a beginner, the mindset you have to have when you go in, is you gotta just gotta have fun. Like, you have to make this to be a hobby that you enjoy doing, like that you think about. Like, whenever I started jiu-jitsu, it was just me, like, all day I was just looking up new techniques, like, oh, what's that do? And what can I do off of that? Because I didn't know shit, and I still don't know shit, obviously. But, like, I still know. Now I know at least what I like to do, a little bit of what I do know. So, like, what I do know, I know what I like to do. And that's fun for me, because I get to go practice that. So once you go there, you can just learn, like, a new way to shrimp or something. And that could just be your shit for, like, a month. It doesn't have to be, like,
the hardest complex path in the world.
No. Like, just people get in this, especially in this culture nowadays. There's this thing of having to be like
like the best right off the
everything
bat.
Right off the bat, and instant gratification. And Instagram's always comparing my life to yours, and Twitter's always thinking about who's the most clever and shit. And it's like, man, if that's really what you're thinking about, I feel sorry for you. Like, if you're not sitting there thinking, like, what can I think about what I can do just to be better every day. Like, I love Instagram. I love social media. And if you know me, you know that. That's just, I think it's hilarious how we, as
you
human,
have a good time.
Yeah, thank you. I try to have a good time.
I have a good time watching.
Thank you. I've gotten more of that as I've gotten older, because I've had this personality and this sense of humor since I was like 13.
It's inspiring in a weird way to somebody like me, anyway.
I'm glad. There's nothing better to me than when somebody says, like, hey, I didn't understand you, but now I know why you're funny. Or, like, I understand why you think that stuff's funny and it's not always that serious, because it's not. And if you're going through life, living life, and everything that everybody says, you take it to heart and you take it personal to your feelings. Like, dude, it's not that serious. Like, some shit is just funny. And that's all. Like, I don't even watch fucking shows that ain't funny. Like, my girl watches Power. It's a good show, but it ain't funny. Like, I ain't getting... If she wasn't watching it, I wouldn't turn it on. I watch things that make Dean smile. If it does not make Dean smile, it's not going into my... And I understand, like, oh, you're not getting in touch with all your emotions. No, motherfucker. I feel. I have empathy towards other human beings, and I feel what it's like to be them, and I'm trying to get better at feeling what it's like to be them, so I don't have to turn on the fucking TV to get my emotions fed to me from this mindless thing that we just all take in. Like, I love watching fucking football because it's big grown motherfuckers going hit people.
You're going hard right now. You gotta bring it back.
Oh, fuck.
So no, like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you're a passionate person.
Yeah.
And that's why I get, like, and if anybody follows you on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever it is, like, whatever it is you do, like, we get that you're a passionate person, and a lot of people are drawn to passion. So let's bring it back here to jiu-jitsu.
Oh, right.
If you're a new beginner like
jiu-jitsu, right.
But, like, I also want to say, like what you're saying, you are what you consume. Like,
yeah.
Whether it's food or whether it's entertainment, you are what you consume.
Yeah.
It's huge.
All you're bringing in is we could talk to that about beginners. Yo, man, if you're just being a beginner at whatever it is, we're talking about jiu-jitsu because this is a martial arts podcast, and we got two jiu-jitsu practitioners here that are both below average on the spectrum. That's fine. We'll say it.
We're going to be below average
for a long ass time
until we're 10 years in.
Oh, for sure. I ain't worried about that. But, like,
and all our friends listening, we love you guys.
Oh yeah, you guys are
harp on us later.
Yeah, you guys are great. Like I said before, you listen to the fucking 10 Planet White Chocolate on this podcast right here. This is not the most cerebral, thought out context that you're going to get. Go listen to Tim Ferriss if you want that.
What a plug!
But I'm good with the shit. For beginners, having that, it's even worse for people that are successful to be a beginner. Like, if you're a lawyer and you come in and do jiu-jitsu, unless you've been beaten down in the trials of civil court and you've done all that bullshit, like, if you just got out of Harvard and you went and got a nice fat job, I bet you would have a hard-ass time getting choked out by a 140-pound motherfucker when all you do is go dominate courtrooms all day. But that's probably the best thing for you, is to go and just realize that you ain't shit. You're really, really good. I'm not shit at 99% of the things in the world. Like, I'm good at a couple things, but the rest of the stuff I'm not good at. And that's the way for the majority of people. So if you can be a beginner at things and just get beaten down, that's so okay. Like, it's so good for you to get beaten down and just realize that
it's good to be humbled.
Oh my God, it's so good to be humbled. I get humbled every day by shit that I just think in my head, and then I look it up. I'm like, oh, dude, you're a fucking moron. Like, it pops in my head.
That's a great feeling in a way.
Yeah, it is, because then you actually, when you take in new thoughts, you actually and you actually look it up, you get the right ideas, and you're able to grow as a person. So if you're able to take the beatings of forever, really, in jiu-jitsu, because that's what you're going to get. You're always going to walk into a badder motherfucker.
So beginner, just, what do you say? Just go. Just do it. Be humble.
If you're a beginner, and obviously, I'm not talking to people like, if I'm your friend and you came to me and you're like, hey, what do I do to start jiu-jitsu? You obviously have an interest in jiu-jitsu. It's hard to go take people off the street and be like, hey, man, you want to go choke people for fun? Like,
it's tough.
It's tough for people. Like, you have to have, like, your friends have the same shared common interests as you, and that's how we grow jiu-jitsu, is through friends that, like, are all the same. Like, if you're friends with them, you're at least on the same wavelength at some level, and you can probably talk them into it. And that's the people that I would target. I wouldn't go up to people on the street and be like, hey, man, you want to put on this heavy-ass wool sweater and get choked by some big-ass 230-pound dude for an hour and a half for 4 days a week? Fuck no. How about that? I don't really want to do that. But if you say you're a friend, like, hey, man, you can go and meet a bunch of really, really cool people that really don't really give a fuck about what you do during the day. I don't know what you do. I know you go to school. I don't know what classes you take. I don't know what the other job you have is. And that's how it like for the gym. Like when I was saying earlier, like, I don't know people's names.
You know a little bit about me, but it's a lot about me.
Yeah, exactly. And I know your personality. I know you're a good fucking dude, and I know I like you. And
I appreciate that.
I know if, like, not to quote Connor, but, like, if we fucking go to war, we're going to fucking war.
Right.
Like, it's the whole gym, and we're taking it.
That's us on the mat for those 5 to 8 minutes, whatever the round is.
That's what it is. Like, that's just what we do. And
we love each other after and before.
It's great. And, like, if you need...
But during, we're going to get better as humans. We're going to get better as practitioners. We're just going to be better.
You're going to be able to just... I remember... talk about getting humbled. I was in there... My first day, I rolled, like, I'm not sure if I should say this because I know we have, like, more strict policies on who rolls, but I rolled, like, my third day.
I rolled my first day, sir. Josh, I'm calling you out, brother. You rolled with me, and you let me roll with Conway.
You let me roll with all the higher
guys.
Yeah, I rolled with a bunch of people starting, like, my second or third day.
But I appreciate Josh, because Josh will look at people in the eyes, and, like, he'll watch them during as they go. He knows who has...
Is that how it should be?
I know. I don't know how... I'm not going to say how it should and shouldn't be, because I am not qualified. But he looks at people, and he's like, okay, this person's not incompetent. But it's okay to be that way, because you're not going to be that one day.
Which is also
and I want to say that for beginners. You're not going to be that one day. So if you don't get a roll the first day, don't stress about it. I grew up an athlete. I am an athlete. I don't think I'm the best athlete, but I can hang in there with the best of the people, and I'm also a big body.
Yeah, the majority of people don't get to roll their first day.
Right.
Like,
that's not stressed.
That's not a thing when you
don't be stressed.
When you go to other gyms. Like, there's a beginner class for a reason. Like,
right.
That's why people go to that. And that's, honestly, if you just want to do jiu-jitsu for the health benefits, just go to the fucking beginner class. Go and roll. Go do warm-ups. That's more than...
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now, I learned more in the beginner class still today after almost 2.5 years of jiu-jitsu than I've ever, and I learned a lot in the advanced, but it's just a different concept because it is advanced. But, like, the beginner class, that'll teach you how to be better. And I want to preach that. I don't care where you go.
It also helps we have a badass teacher.
Well, yeah, it's that. But, like, I've been to other schools. I don't know if you've been to other schools. I know people that go to other schools, and we kind of share the same information over text, Instagram stories, kind of things like that. And there's a lot of really good stuff out there. But I'm telling you right now, if you're a beginner, go to the beginner courses because it's totally worth it. Yes. So let's get closer to wrapping this up right now.
Okay.
Dean, I have a couple questions to ask you. And first I want to start with saying that you are the first person I'm gonna have to put, like, right off the bat, like, instead of Steven sits down with who and whatever we talk about, I'm gonna have to put super explicit, but just listen to it all, and there's really good material.
There's some good stuff in here.
There's really good material in here, and especially after we hit that little Kansas City Chief thing here. Mm-hmm. But what I want to ask you is, like, how excited were you to be on a podcast, and how do you feel now that we're a little over an hour in?
Bro, that's wow. That flew by. I'm not gonna let you know. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what everybody says.
I knew I could talk for an hour. I got like little butterflies coming over here because like it's always like I just learned what podcasts were like 3 years ago. So it's like, oh shit, my boy's got a podcast. Oh shit, my boys are on my boy's podcast. Oh shit, he asked me to be on the podcast. Oh, I'm on the fucking podcast. Oh shit.
Yeah, I don't ask people to be on the podcast. That one, I don't think you have to be able to talk. I knew you could talk because you have that moxie, but you have to be a good time. But I wanted to come to you because you're a lot different than everybody I've had.
Yes.
And so I wanted to bring that perspective of saying like, hey, I'm not bringing like these great talented people. No, I want to show people throughout their journey. And so I want to show somebody who's new into their journey, but is also expanding to MMA. But I also wanted to show your personality. And that's, I knew I was going to have to be like, hey, this is going to be really explicit, but there's good stuff in here. And I want to say I appreciate you being on. But,
I appreciate you having me, brother.
But like, how do you feel? Like, cause like do you have a book to recommend? Cause I usually do segments.
Okay. Yeah. I was actually, like I said, I don't read. But actually I do have a book and it's about a 30-page long,
like a PDF file?
No, it's a 30-page, it's a book. It's a real book.
Okay.
It's called, The Loyal Customer, A Lesson from a Cab Driver by Shep Hyken. And what it is there's this man that starts a business and he's a taxi driver. And he wants to have his own taxi company. And what he does is instead of trying to mass multiply and instead of trying to just have the most taxi cabs and have the most ads, he just provides the best service. And he gives a personal connection to his clients. And he knows everything about all of his clients. And they're all high talent clients. And they all just appreciate the fact this man, he writes thank you notes to them. He calls them on Christmas. They just really appreciate, and it's a taxi service. Like you give them $40 to drive you uptown and they do, and that's just what it is. But he ends up making a whole business out of this from just having these clients that will only call him whenever they come to his city because they love the way he treats them. And that really can apply to all aspects of life. If you want anything and you want to grow whatever you have, there's no reason that you should ever burn any bridge until there's a necessity to. And you should just give everybody the utmost respect and exemplary service that you possibly can if you want to be great. And they might not come back. Those people that you give all the time in the day to and you give all the effort to, they might not come back and they might go with that big chain company. But you know what? You didn't fucking want them anyway. You didn't need those people in your life because they don't care. And you know what? There's a lot of people that don't care, but we got a lot of people that do. And if you find the people that do, then you can sustain a real proper business. And that's where I think of everything in life is just comes of business, because that's what my family does. We own a small business, and I've been around it since I was 14 years old. So that's just what I think about whenever I think about just kind of like life analogies, is just how I would apply to it in business. And there's things that I see people saying, and like I say crazy shit, but that I don't like. It's not really what I'm applying to. There's things that I see people say, like I see the way that they treat their business partners. I see the way that they would treat their clients, and it's like, wow, that's not the way that should be handled.
Yeah. So it's good to be a good Samaritan, be a humane person, and love each other, and because if you succeed, then I succeed. Because if we're in this together.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter if you're the fucking taxi driver or you're the CEO in the taxi. Like, you might have helped that dude seal the deal because of how great your service was, and then he's going to call you back and he's going to tell his buddies, and he's going to tell
valuable
he's
employees.
going to tell
But I want to hang on and point that out real quick. Think of like your martial arts journey.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the CEO and the owner of ourselves.
Yes.
So, but sometimes
always remember that you're always the CEO of your fucking life.
Exactly. But some days, when we kind of check out.
Yeah.
Think of yourself on those days when you check out. You're your employee. You're your body. You're your meat vehicle, as Juan likes to call it. You're your employee. And that's how I look at it. What am I going to do as a good employee to make my CEO proud? And it sounds kind of bipolar-ish when I say it now out loud for the first time. But like I always think of it like this: is I'm always my CEO, and that's when I'm walking around with confidence. I'm walking around being the big dog on campus, if you're in school. But then there's days where I'm just like, man, I'm not the best me today, and I can feel it. Everybody feels this. When I feel it, and then I tell myself, okay, I'm not the CEO today, I'm the employee. What's the employee going to do to make the CEO proud? And sometimes I don't even say it like that. Like when I can't go that far, I'll be like, okay, if I'm my own parent, what am I going to do as a child because I'm not having my best day? What am I going to do to make myself proud, or make my parents proud or make my family proud?
I think that's one way to think about it, but I think an even better way would be on your bad days. Think about what as a CEO are you going to do to make your employees proud?
Because that's a good one.
Because if your employees aren't motivated and they see that the CEO is slacking, there's no way that they're going to motivate themselves to work properly.
And that's a good outlook.
The only way that you're ever going to have a proper meat vehicle is to have the brain in order, because you have to put the days you don't want to do it, you got to think that those are the days that rub off on everybody near you, and those are the days you have to be your best. So the days I don't feel like waking up at 5:30 to get to work, to get those trucks on the road, I got to put the biggest fucking smile on. It's shit like that, and it's just complete accountability for all your actions at all times. When you're being serious, obviously.
Yeah.
When you're around your fucking buddies bullshit, and that's a different time.
And that right there, that's why I want people to listen to you.
Yeah. I got some good shit, guys.
We're going to leave it on that. So plug your Instagram, plug your Facebook, because we're not going to go on a better note than that.
That's
so
fine.
Let's take it on that.
All right. Instagram, that's the only thing I give a fuck about you guys following, is just 10p, 10, the letter P, period, white chocolate. Have a good one, guys.
All right, everybody. This is, I believe, episode 22 of Head Kick Radio, just coming out the weekend after Conor McGregor Khabib.
Fuck yeah, let's go Khabib. Fly, Eagle, fly, baby. Come on.
We're disagreeing here. I'm going for Conor just because I want to start a grow. Everybody, we love you. This has been good.
Say hello to the stars above.